Hello and welcome to WD18, the Watford fan channel for your post-match pint, brought to you by the Mad Squirrel. In the Mad Squirrel, it's finished Watford 2, West Brom Albion 1. My name is Joe Culshaw. I'm joined by Sam Ucko. I'm joined by Jack Davis to do a little bit of a review of a huge win at Vicarage Road. Now, before I even cross to Jack, Sam, talk to us about your movements over the last 50 days or so, but also the last week going from Australia to Hull to Vicarage Road.
I know, I was fortunate enough to do the East Coast over the last 2 months or so. This time last week I was still in Sydney before getting on a flight, 24-hour flight to the UK, one night at home, on the coach to Hull away, getting back at 3:30 in the morning, back at home. Still incredibly jet-lagged, but it's all worth it because Tom Cleverley's Tricky Yellows are on a playoff promotion charge.
I'll tell you what, I did hear a few EIO up the Football League we go, Jack.
Since the last time that we were here and attempted to record a post-match,
it didn't go out.
A post-match reaction, I was very hesitant to use the P word. I'm still hesitant to use it. I don't think we can talk about promotion yet. But
that is the P word.
The P word is promotion. I said it now. Oh no. Wow.
Shots.
Do you know what? We keep beating big teams at home. We're going to be within the mix.
Watford remain unbeaten at Vicarage Road this season. Tom Cleverley, for a new manager, has the best record in English football for the first 16 games now at home. 16 wins. 16 games unbeaten, sorry. Watford's, Sam, just that result, it felt like a collective relief, joy, just jubilation at full time, because as Jack said, it's a big team that's come to Vicarage Road, a big manager in the Championship of Carlos Corberán, who's been linked with a number of jobs, and Watford have done the job again, and we keep that unbeaten run at home going, Sam. So just your overall assessment on a massive win for Watford, because it did feel like that at full time anyway.
Yeah, it was a game I think filled with all the emotions that you associate with Watford at Vicarage Road. We don't make it easy for ourselves. I think that last 20 minutes was the slowest 20 minutes of my life. My heart rate was all over the shop, but yeah, delighted with it. I think even though in terms of the performance it wasn't necessarily the best, I think there were some parts that we know we need to work on, but the desire, the effort was there. And, here comes the magic word again, the intangibles that Tom Cleverley has brought to this Watford side. I think that application was brilliant today, and we completely deserved to win. It feels like a statement victory, and you could see the celebrations on the pitch at the end, Bio celebrating with the fans. I think they know that this is a real platform to build on now. 9
goals this season for Vacuum Bayer, by the way. Yet Jeremy Ngakia got man of the match. Now, this is an interesting one, because for me, I thought, if I took a step back, I thought that was Ryan Porter, one of his best performances in a Watford shirt. I thought he was outstanding at the back, especially when you move from a back 3 to a back 4. And Ngakia coming in, he was great. Rocco Vata was bright. Georgie Chatfordazzi, and Vacuum Bayer gets 2 goals.
It's the player that had the biggest impact on the game. That's the man that scored the 2 goals. 2 very well taken goals, might I add. What I would say, it's so good there are so many people being thrown into that conversation and so many people performing to such a good level. I think Ngakia, who is a player that's frustrated a lot of Watford fans because injuries, but we know what he's capable of. He doesn't give the ball away, and I was really impressed with him today. Porto looked so solid and so calm and put together. Matty Pollock, again, immense, as he has been so much throughout this season. James Morris, although he had it up against him today with Tom Fellows, who's obviously a very good player, but I thought second half he really came into it. There's a lot of good performances in there, but you know who my man's going to be.
9 goals for this season for Bio, which is a fascinating one. One of the weirdest strikers, I think. Anyway, sorry, Jack, go on.
Morgan Churcher, he's made 2 games this season because he's recovering from an injury. He's seen us play twice, and Vacuum Bio scored 6 goals.
It's just ridiculous. He's a fascinating player. One of the most fascinating I've found watching Watford, because he'll drift out of a game, he won't be in it, he looks like he's not really involved in it, and then bang, he's in the game. And it's a great header for the first one. The second one, I need to watch it back because it did look like there might have been an arm involved.
Matty Pollock bundled over the centre-back. Bayo took a good touch, started it in the corner.
I did notice we didn't see the full replay on the big screen as well, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, listen, I think you worry about it, and not worry about it, but I never get too annoyed sometimes in this division when decisions go against us, like at Hull the other night, because I just feel like in this league, with this quality of refs, you win some, you lose some, and Hull shouldn't have had a goal the other night. potentially that second goal for Bayo shouldn't have stood. So listen, in this division, I think sometimes you're going to win decisions, sometimes you're not going to, and you just got to accept both of them when they come.
But what a cracking finish though, that second one.
Brilliant finish, really, really good.
First one as well, ball's behind him, and he's managed to get his head on it, find it into the corner. I mean, he's a player that obviously confidence is so big for him, and you see when things aren't going his way, he's throwing his arms up in the air, he's moaning, he's whinging. When he's got the wind in his sail and he gets the fans on side, he's, I imagine, pretty difficult to play against.
Yeah, he is a difficult striker to play against.
Imagine saying that 18 months ago, by the way.
I know, but even then we did if you check out our, well, not that you're going to now, but we did a review after Hull, and we basically said that Vacuum Bayo wasn't in the game really, his movement wasn't great, but then today he's involved in the game, he's a lot more than he is in the week. Sam, I just wanted to take it back to that first half, because I felt that Watford edged it first half, yet there was a big moment just towards the end. Carlin Grant fluffed his lines with Josh Madger. Daniel Batten was put under pressure by Josh Madger. There was a few moments where Watford looked a little bit shaky, but yet we went into the break at half-time ahead. What did you make of that first half overall compared to the second half?
Some really good bits in there and some not so good bits in there. I think we probably deserved to be ahead. Lovely goal, really, really nice goal. Having that view of it from the rookery, almost behind it, but you see the way we worked the ball out from the back. Worked the ball really nicely out to Rocco Vata, who was able to beat his man, get the cross in, and a lovely, lovely header from Vacuum Bayo. I did think at times they were getting in behind, down the sides a little bit too easily. I hate to say it because I really like him, but I thought James Morris really struggled today. And I think he always struggles in the back four. I think his best position is on the left of a back three.
Is he a centre-back then a full-back now, Morris?
I think he's more of a centre-back, but only in a three, that's the thing.
Leeds away, he was brilliant playing left centre-back, wasn't he? Yeah.
I just think he really struggled at left-back today, and I think they targeted that. They knew that he'd struggle. So I think half-time came at a good time, because almost if they played another 5 minutes, West Brom could have scored there. So, yeah, definitely a lot of positives in there, and on the whole, I think, again, what we've seen with this Watford side is we try and keep it tight for the first hour or so and then really go for it. Luckily, this time we were able to go 1-0 up. Must have been our first half goal in a long time as well.
Do you know what? I said to someone as well, as Sam correctly reminded me, Derby, Bayo scored in the first half, but I always think Bayo's more of a second half player. He never really scores his goals in the first half.
So to the same extent, today's the first time, if I'm right, that Vata, Chakva, Bar and Bayo have all started together, and you normally associate Vata and Bar as finishers, like in rugby when you get your starters and your finishers, and they come off the bench and is Bar a better player as an impact sub. But actually, against a side like West Brom and against strong sides, I think we're so much more effective trying to start on the front foot as opposed to waiting to read the game and then thinking, okay, we're behind, now we'll play. And I think from a fan's perspective, obviously it's a lot more settling to know that we're going to go at it from minute one. The flip side is what we saw in the last 20 minutes is, do we have the legs, do we have the beans, and do we have the reinforcements to come off the bench to be able to maintain that? Because I felt today, as soon as you're taking off Bar and Vata, we lost all creative output bar Chakva, who I'm sure we'll come on to.
Until we brought on Larousse, bizarrely, because we were up against all, weren't we? 75 minutes. I thought for the first 65, Watford were the better team. West Brom grew into it, got that goal, and then he made those subs, didn't we? And Sam in our group chat said, I'm not a fan of these substitutions. For that 10 minutes, Sam, we were up against the wall, weren't we? And Larousse was the sub that got us up the pitch.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I'm still not going to lie. I'm still not the biggest fan of those subs. I think we could have really done with an out ball, whether that was Bar or Vata. And I think we completely lost all pace, to be honest with you. And West Brom were committing more and more men forward, and Chatfatazzi was absolutely excellent in that last 20 minutes, carrying the ball forward. If we had a bit of pace in there, we'd score a third goal. And yes, we got into some really good positions. Kayembe had a really good opportunity as well. I just thought that the game management towards the end wasn't necessarily the best. We could have gone to the corner a few more times, or we ultimately should have got shots off. And I feel like having one of Bar or Vata in there would have helped a lot. I'm not going to complain because we won the game, but I think it's one for Tom Cleverley to look at.
What do we make of that change of system? Because we played a back three, that 3-4-2-1. It is an option for us because it's the formation that Cleverley implemented in pre-season. He tweaked it to a 4-3-3, put Chatfatazzi into the middle, as you say, Vata on the left-hand side, he was so bright. Bar on the right-hand side, who probably his best performance when he started, I felt. Yeah. He's been great coming off the bench, as you say, but it was the best one I've seen from him starting. And then you had, obviously, Morris at left-back. That 4-3-3, I think West Brom expected us to play a 3 at the back in that first half. Are you leaning more... Again, it's nice that we're flexible, but are you leaning more towards that 4-3-3 or the 3 at the back?
the conversation we were having around us was actually that because we are now a lot more defensively solid, and I waited till the end of the game to say it when I'd seen the full performance, but as soon as you become more defensively solid and you trust that Porto and Pollock are stable as your two centre-backs, I then think you're almost able to drop out that 5 or 3, whatever it is, and allow that one extra more creative player. And as we saw, you're able to fit in a Vata as well, who deserved a start, and it was brilliant today.
What was it about his performance, Vata?
It's his creativity and that kind of the lack of fear that he plays with. I think he knows that he's probably more skillful than anyone on the pitch, and he'll give it a go. But if it doesn't work, I guarantee you he'll be the first person to try and win that ball back. And I really am enjoying his application of his talent. And that point that Clev's made it was last night, wasn't it, about your average player will only carry the ball for 2.5 minutes. I think it looked as if he was almost addressing that directly, because his off-the-ball work was phenomenal, and same can be said for a lot of them. Please, can we talk about Imran Loser soon, because I love him.
I'm actually going to leave that one to Sam, because his redemption arc at Watford, I'm going to call it a redemption arc, because I thought he was down and out.
Do this without saying Millwall away.
Do you know what? I thought Imran Loser was down and out at Watford. And I think what Tom Cleverley's done really well is he's managed him. And he's managed him well. Look, we mustn't forget that Cleverley's played with Loser. He's another one. Sissoko he's played with, Loser he's played with. There's a couple that he has played with, and he's managed his minutes well, Sam. I think Jack's absolutely bang on. The way he can pick the ball up the back four is probably the skill out of all the midfielders that no one else has, really. His calmness. I think there was a phase in the first half where we were under a bit of pressure. West Brom had pressed us in and we managed to play out and just calmed everyone down. Even got an applause from the Rookery, and we barely moved up the pitch, which I think shows the composure of Loser. So, has your mind changed on Loser? Because you've been someone who hasn't been a massive fan of him.
Where's this Imran Loser been for the last 3 years?
He got injured at Millwall away.
No, of course there was Millwall away, but even when he's come back in, there were discipline issues in there, and he's been excellent. And this is the Imran Loser that we signed, and the Imran Loser who there was a lot of hype around him when he came into the club, and he's showing his quality. I think my only slight issue, I still don't think we found our best midfield partnership. I'm still not sure who that best two in the middle is, but
because it was a 3 today, wasn't it? And I think that's his better in that.
Yeah, in that little 10, in the free roam. But I think whoever that midfield partnership is, Imran Loser is one of those. And imagine saying that at the start of the season, because like you say, I didn't think we'd see him at all. I think he probably wanted to leave in the summer. Then it's a question of he's not playing at the start of the season. He's going to look to leave in January. Tom Daly gets injured. Sissoko suspended. The opportunity comes, and he's been absolutely excellent. Huge credit to Imran Loser. And for him, it's a matter of consistency. He's finding that consistency now, and he can be one of the best midfielders in the division.
Loser. I know you wanted to talk about him. He's, again, I thought Sissoko was one of his better games. I thought for 65 minutes, a lot of the Watford players put in a really good performance, and then it was a bit ropey until the last 10.
I'm going to challenge you on Sissoko. I thought first half I
struggled,
and you know that I'm a man that's
I sometimes don't know what Sissoko does.
Naughty tackle, by the way, on Grant.
So you'll know that I'm a very staunch defender of Sissoko normally. Today, that first 45, he was woeful, and he was the Musa that I hear everyone talk about and I don't necessarily see. I agree with everything Sam said about Loser, and I think that if we're able to answer that question of who the best two are, I think realistically it probably would be Tom Daly and Imran if they were both fit. I would have liked to have seen Pierre Duomo get some minutes today, but again, big game. He's kind of been a bit in and out of form in the minutes that he's had. What I would say is, again, talk about redemption arcs within the space of a match. Sissoko's gone from giving the ball away a few times, putting in a filthy challenge, being slightly petulant towards the referee in receiving the booking, which really irked me, to then second half, mammoth. Like, properly turned it around, doing the legwork. And again, like Sam, you say, kind of what does he do? What is his role? I think that his off-the-ball work, it's the hardest to spot unless you're really looking for it. But today I think we saw it, clearing up those balls just in front of the defensive line, getting us out, which is something that we've been terrible at in the past, and we needed today, especially with that lack of an out ball. And then you see at the 89th minute when he's herring down the left wing, that's my club captain. I know he's not the club captain, but that's my captain.
Yeah.
And that's the value and the merit that he has. He's got the experience. He knows what it takes. Whether he's able to produce it or not is a different story. But I do think he's an incredibly important part of this culture shift that we're going through, and hopefully this P-word charge that we're on.
I want to carry on talking about redemption arcs, and the title.
It's Redemption Arc FC, isn't it?
The title should be Redemption Arc FC of this video. Ryan Porteous, you mentioned him. A lot of players this season under Tom Cleverley have improved a lot. I think the big names have to be Matty Pollock's revived his Watford career, James Morris to an extent, Vacuum Bayo scoring goals. Ryan Porteous, after a really difficult summer, the Euros with Scotland, he admitted that himself. He's a different player, and I feel like another person who has to take a lot of credit for that is Paul Robinson. Because I've noticed since Robbo's come back to the club is that he's a lot less aggressive while keeping that aggression to his game, if you know what I mean. Because what we saw a lot with Porteous was he'd charge out, he'd be a bit rash, he'd make bad challenges, he'd step out of line too quickly. But he's been a real leader at the back. He's forming a rock-solid partnership with Matty Pollock. And I think today was the first goal at home we conceded in about 6 or 7 games. The first one since Robbo came back to the club. And I think a lot of credit for that has to go to Ryan Porteous because he's been outstanding. And while getting a bit more discipline to his game, he's still been able to maintain that aggression, and it's been really impressive.
I also don't think we can underestimate how difficult it can be for players to adapt when you are tinkering with the team. And like, this is not against Cleverley, but he has changed the team, he's changed the system. And there's certain players, particularly those back two, Porteous and Pollock. Pollock's gone from a central centre-back to a left centre-back to in a back two. And they're always having to adapt. Just on that goal, what do we make of it? Because it came at a point where I felt Watford were in control of the game. But then we had 2 chances, didn't we? Bayo with a great save from the West Brom goalkeeper. Barr, who was at the back post, probably should have scored. And it felt like that was the moment where we got the 3rd goal. It would have just eased the nerves and would have meant we could have probably cruised to a victory. We didn't. West Brom then go up the other end, have a 5-minute spell. They get the goal. Did it just feel that maybe we just... Complacency is probably too easy to say, but did we just kind of retreat a little bit too much and not keep that pressure on Jack?
100%. Got to take your chances. Everyone knew that. Everyone knew that you missed 2 big chances when you're 2-0 up. Yeah. 2-0 is categorically the worst lead to have in a football match, because as soon as it becomes 2-1, it's like, okay, this is not good momentum. You lose it all. I thought the goal had taken a deflection. Then my brother in Mexico's told me that Daniel Backman was slightly off balance and he's just tried to parry it and not quite managed to do so. And I'll mention Daniel Backman very quickly. For those that didn't manage to catch all of the game and are only seeing the highlights, there were 2 moments where Backman's pulled off 2 unbelievable saves. The only problem is that the ball wasn't going in the goal. In fact,
I've had confirmation of this.
There was one in the first half that it would have missed a 2nd goal. And he's made a wonderful save, but he's pushed out for a corner because he doesn't know where his posts are. Matt and I were talking about, does he see the game in 2D? Like, does he struggle with depth perception? It was bizarre.
I think it's weird because, it's difficult being a goalkeeper, I know. But, all right, you expect that from maybe a younger goalkeeper away from home, getting his bearings. But he's at home in a goal he's played in hundreds of times. The ball is quite far out, so he's got plenty of time to get his bearings. I didn't understand it. It didn't go in, so it's fine, but it was bizarre. Just didn't really get it.
Watford retreated, the pressure was on, West Brom got a goal back, and I have to say, many a time at Vicarage Road over the last how many years, well, since we've all been following the club, we've crumbled, and we've seen us crumble as well.
Georgie Chatfatazzi, unbelievable.
Better in an 8?
Yeah.
I think he's better in an 8.
100%. When he's able to pick the ball up from deeper, you mentioned about Sissoko picking the ball up from deeper. In that last 10-15 minutes when it was backs against the walls, he was and he was so good to watch. Unbelievable chat. Brilliant today.
Just on chat taxi, I've got one more thing.
As many things you want.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Is the audio picking this up?
Don't you worry. The camera's on. The audio's on.
If these Baggies fans come over one more time, I think we're going to have to call it a day.
Well, we've had to edit it out. We've had 2 West Brom fans come over wanting to have a little chat about the game. We were like, lads, we've got a post-match Pint to record. I'm with Jack Davis. He's got things to do, places to be.
Darts on tonight. If Chatfatazzi could finish, he would not be playing for Watford. However, the value that he adds to this team, the opportunities he creates, and again, if he can just not score any goals until January, and then once that window's closed, he can score as many times as he likes, and I'm happy for him to go.
Do you really think he would go in January?
I'll tell you something, though. Obviously, he's a fantastic player, but the one thing that the Pozzos have got right recently is almost that conveyor belt of players. You can see Rocco Vatta's the next one, in a way. And obviously, I don't think we'll lose George in January. I think he'll definitely go in the summer, I think. But almost I'm at ease seeing how good Rocco Vata is. And we've seen this over the last few years. Richarlison goes out.
João Pedro comes in.
João Pedro comes in. João Pedro goes out. Asprilla improves. That comes in. That next one's Rocco Vata. And I think to me, that's what Rocco Vata's performance today signalled, is that he's the next one on that list, isn't he?
He is indeed. Lads, anything else we want to mention before we talk about the context of this result in the season?
I'd like to talk about the atmosphere, if that's all right, please.
Go, mate. I'd love to talk about the atmosphere.
I like to use Sheffield Wednesday at home when we won 4-2 as a bit of a cornerstone for Watford fans. And the reason was we were 2-1 down, I want to say. And maybe it was either Ekstrand or Tamas got sent off. Or maybe we were 2-1 up.
Gabriel Tamas, wow.
It was some...
Tamas played about 3 games, got sent off, scored no goal, got injured, never saw him again.
What about Alexander Merkel? Samba Diakite, the list goes on.
Yeah. So, but the reason I remember that game is when the score was something like 2-1 or 2-2, it was about 75 minutes in and the Rookery were all on their feet for the last 15 minutes, plus stoppages. Keith Andrews scored a header. We won 4-2. And everyone was singing Watford FC on repeat for about 15 minutes. Again today, and there have been a few like it. Today the fans realised, especially in the second half, how much the team needed them as that 12th man. And it's so refreshing, especially for me. I sit in the quietest pocket of the Rookery, like the quietest pocket. We don't stand up for corners. And it's so nice to know that everyone around you gets the importance of getting behind the team, getting up and singing, being that 12th man. And when you've got a manager that gets it, an assistant manager that gets it, a team that not rely on it, but they definitely thrive off it, and you can see them putting in that extra yard, it makes my experience as a fan so much more enjoyable and feeds into this whole thing about the Vicarage Road is not an easy place to come to. Evidenced by
statistically.
Exactly, statistically, and as we're seeing in the flesh and as it's playing out. And, you know, we've got some very good teams to come and play us. We've got to host Burnley, we've got to host Leeds, we've got to host Sheffield United. If our fans keep turning out like we have been, and if our players keep putting in the performances where they're playing for the badge, and we've had so many conversations about players not playing for the badge, things are going in the direction where it's that GT quote, what is it? We will go toe-to-toe with you, that one. It feels like now we're seeing that for the first time. I can't remember actually our fan base being as united for a manager since Javi. Since Javi.
Because you said it actually in the context of the last few seasons, Sam, that sometimes it can fall, we can agree it can fall flat at Vicarage Road. And actually, second half, when we got that early goal, I think everyone thought, you know what, this is a Watford team that deserves, as Tom Cleverley's shown, to get behind, because we're in a position now, Sam, where we go to Burnley away next week. Then we've got some winnable games over the Christmas period. If we could build a run when there's so many fixtures coming thick and fast. There was a lot made of the whole result, I thought, and me included, I thought we were poor. It was a game that a draw was a fair result, but Hull, in the situation they are, you'd want us to go there and sort of put them under pressure, especially with the new manager bounce. But Sam, for this result, a statement result, would you go as far to say that this season, or too early? Can you have a statement result before the new year?
They've won one game in 12. Sorry to the Baggies fans over there. They're not.
I keep interrupting, so no, sorry.
They're not high flying, but I think it's the step in the right direction towards. And again, if we go and get a result at Burnley, I'll bite your hand off for a point. It's not going to be our hardest test at Vicarage Road. And I think, you know, beating Sunderland, we've beaten Borough, beating West Brom. If we can kick on and beat a couple of those teams up at the top.
I hate the term winnable game that you used before, because it's just so Watford that we'll lose one of those winnable games, isn't it?
Because we didn't have a good feeling going into it.
I thought today would be the one that it comes unstuck. Not because we'd be poor, because West Brom, I think, are a really, really good side. Just love Tom Cleverley.
Why?
Just everything about him, you know. He just gets it. It's just everything about that man. I look into his eyes and I just see promotion.
The way he wins that ball back.
Do you know what? It's the intangibles of Tom Cleverley.
It's always but I do feel that there's something about it with this Watford team. In previous years, was it under AD Boothroyd in 2005 when we got promoted, and no one expected us to go up that year. And the
Zola Coaster, beautiful.
And there's just that feeling there, because I feel like this Watford team don't necessarily deal well with expectation. And now this season, the shackles are off a bit. There's a bit less pressure on it. All the pressure's on everyone upstairs, the Potsos, Duxbury, rather than the team. And it's just helping us a lot massively. And I don't want to say it too soon because I don't want to disappoint myself, and I'm managing expectations because I thought we'd be in a relegation battle this season, but every week I'm pleasantly surprised. And I like I said, I don't want to say it because I'm just worried I'm gonna get hurt later on in the season, but something could be happening here.
Something could be happening. That's the line for us. That's the title sword.
I'd be happy to finish 8th. I'd be happy to finish 8th if we keep seeing the good things that we're seeing. I'm okay with us going toe-to-toe teams and losing games. I think that this is the closest we'll be to committing to an actual culture shift, and we could have a head coach for a while, i.e. longer than 3 months. Exactly, touch everything you possibly can.
We lose 3 games.
But as Sam said, we have that feeling like we've had in the past. But for me, the difference is that if it doesn't go right, I'm okay with that. I compare it to, it's like England cricket, it's Bazball. Tom Cleverley's football is Bazball.
Clevesball.
We play with that freedom, and it's nice to watch, and we enjoy going to matches. How many away games? We won 2 away games this season. I'm still going to go to as many away games as I can.
Listen, I think context is needed so many times this season. The draw at Hull the other night, yes, it was really, really poor, but this Watford team are massively overachieving. Tom Cleverley's massively overachieving for his first season as a manager. And that context needs to be applied throughout. We're having a fantastic season, and look, I think it might be too soon to start talking about playoffs, but look, it's enjoyable. Let's just sit back and enjoy the ride.
I'm going to put it out there. I think Tom Cleverley is doing the best job of any manager in the Championship in terms of the players he's got to work with, in terms of what the expectations were before the start of the season, in terms of the pressure that we know goes on upstairs. Look, we can sit here and go, look, he's going to get time. We know for a fact that if the results had turned, and look, I have to say there was a point at the start of the season, I forgot the game, but there was a point where I thought, if we lose 3 in a row here, and I forgot what game it was, we went 2 back-to-back defeats, and I forgot the third game, but we managed to get a draw.
Was it Luton and Leeds?
Luton and Leeds, and I think we drew the following game. As you say, Tom Cleverley is massively exceeding expectations. This Watford team is exceeding expectations. And look, you lads have mentioned promotion, as not just mentioned in conversation. Sam's mentioned about where he'd be happy finishing. I'm going to be honest, lads, I'm enjoying the ride at the minute. And I'm going to call it the Clevs coaster because we've had ups, we've had downs so far. You called it the Zola coaster. But actually, this team is really, really likeable. And it's likeable because of Tom Cleverley. And he's been the missing piece, I think, connecting the club, the fans, the supporters, everyone in the football club. He is the glue with everything, isn't he, Sam? You can tell.
On that, because I think it's our last post-match pint before Christmas.
No, we've got one Boxing Day.
One more Boxing Day, but before Christmas Day. Boxing Day's after Christmas Day.
It's Sunday, it's been a No.
What would you both get Tom Cleverley for Christmas? Or what would you get? You could pick a Watford player to get him something for Christmas.
I'd get Tom Cleverley some knitwear because he really likes a nice jumper. Maybe
Green cardigan.
Yeah, I saw a little bit. I wasn't a massive fan of that one. But do you know what, for me, and some knitwear from maybe a Hugo Boss, a Percival menswear, one of those establishments.
I want to give him a hug. I just want to give Tom Cleverley a hug and thank him because...
Now, what would you get for Christmas?
I hope he has a great Christmas.
Yeah, I'm saying...
I hope you have a good Christmas.
When Sam and I were at uni doing our radio show about Watford, we'd be so miserable. We hated everything about what was going on. It wasn't fun being a Watford fan. It's now fun. I don't think I could give him a Christmas present that would thank him enough for what he's done. Tom, if you're listening, I love you, mate.
But you know what? I'm going to put it out there. It's an open offer to Tom Cleverley, Paul Robertson, Alberto Garrido, everyone on the backroom staff. Fancy a pint of the Mad Squirrel. Boxing Day, we'll see you there.
See you at the pond end of the season, lads.
I want Robbo's lasagna. Did you see he did the video? He said what they get each other for Christmas, the Watford players, and Robbo said he was going to make Chafadazzi a lasagna. I want that one day. So.
I didn't see that. What, Chafadazzi, he loves lasagna, does it?
No, I'm not sure. Robbo says he makes a great lasagna.
Who, Chafadazzi?
No, Robbo said that Robbo himself makes a great lasagna and wants to
cook it for Chakva.
Right.
I want that.
That's some real content.
Yeah. I'd get Matty Pollock and Ryan Porteous. Just a brick wall, because I just want to see them just heading the brick wall. They can head anything, I think.
I reckon.
I would get Rocco Vata a big tub of creatine. Because if he can bulk out a little bit and get a little bit stronger, I think he is going to be the next big thing.
What would you get a Watford player for Christmas? Let us know in the comment section below. Jack Davis, what a pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
This will be going out, don't worry.
Are you sure? If it doesn't, we're going to have problems, mate.
Sam Ucko, what a pleasure to be back, mate.
Pleasure.
And can you just say how tan Sam is, by the way? Jack, you look, mate,
I think the tan came from Hull rather than Australia.
from Hull. Goodness me. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Make sure to check out the Mad Squirrel. We're here on a match day more often than not.
There's one thing we've got to end on, Jacob.
Leave a like on the video, comment down below your thoughts. What would you get Tom Cleverley for Christmas? Subscribe to WD18, follow Sam, Jack and myself on our social channels and WD18 at WD18 fans, and we will see you in the next one. Take care, guys, and up the audits. You